So the Nord Stream pipeline in the Baltic Sea, way down beneath in the cold, cold depths, is destroyed. And there's lots of speculation as to who it could possibly, who did it? Who was it? Who's responsible? And there's some really weird theories. I think the two biggest theories are the U.S. did it per the Biden administration's desire to escalate war with Russia ahead of an election. Now, that's not beyond. Let's just stop there for a minute. Some people, and there's some people on the right that believe that. Do you blame them, though? Can I just volunteer that for a moment? Do you really blame them? Think about all of the different agencies that have been weaponized by this administration to the point where it's just ripping the country to pieces. The FISA court, the DOJ, the FBI, is it really beyond the realm of possibility to think? I mean, for crying out loud, Bill Clinton bombed a medicine factory. He wanted to help himself during his election. He wanted to help himself in the polls. This isn't a surprise. I mean, stuff like this that's on a smaller scale has been done before. So that's one theory. Because Biden's doing so horribly, the only thing that they believe that could rescue him, and it also has the bonus effect of making War Inc. happy, is he's a wartime president. Now, the other theory is that the Russians did it themselves to widen the set of circumstances that they're up against, to make it look like there's a lot more against them than just this stuff in Ukraine. And then I'm thinking, well, why not just turn off the pipeline and say, okay, yeah, we did it. But then I had a friend that was writing a really smart piece about this. Or not a friend, actually, a friend of a friend. And I understand that it would probably be viewed as a major provocation. Right? It probably would be considered a major provocation if they decided to just turn this off. And maybe that would be the ultimate trigger to go to war. I don't know. There's a Latin word for that. Now, those are, I think, the two most popular competing theories. There is great difficulty in discussing this issue with any nuance without people who want to manipulate you into taking a side. It is very difficult. Because if you come out and say, can we look at the Minsk agreements? Then it's people on the right. You have some of the neocons on the right that go, oh my gosh, you're a Russian stooge. I'm just asking, can we look? And then if you're totally on the side of Ukraine, then some people say you're on the side of Nazi. I don't know. It's so ridiculous. There are so many people, and there are bots all over Twitter. I've noticed a major increase in brand new accounts that were just created last month. And they all follow each other. I spent an hour looking at that the other night. But there are some questions. And one of the things that I think that Musk accidentally exposed in all of this is he was asking, what is the peaceful resolution to this? Because and that's ultimately, is it independence versus territory? Is that the right context in which to look at this? And the reason I brought up the Minsk agreements is because that is one of the things that some are saying that Ukraine is not entirely regarding in this. And that this goes all the way back to 1952 with Khrushchev and when the Soviet Union fell, Ukraine found themselves in charge of an amount of land that was a lot bigger than what they were normally in charge of. And they had a nuclear arsenal and a Black Sea fleet and everything else. So what is the best way? Because it seems like there's only two options at this point. Either there is some sort of negotiation and both sides compromise or something, or we just keep escalating this to World War III, which I will riot against my government before I allow my loved ones to go and fight and die in a foreign land because every other politician decided it was going to be way more profitable for them to make money off of this than to resolve it peacefully. Oh, hell no. Cindy Sheehan won't. I'll be her on steroids. This is it, and I think a lot of other parents and people who have loved ones that are serving will as well. This is what aggravates me about foreign policy, because The loudest people that are making these decisions are some of the dumbest. And there are people who, we got to get it. We just got to go to fight. We got to go to war. We got to fight, I guess. Let's send boots on the ground. I can't tell you how many talking heads I've seen on television that say this stuff. It's so easy for these people to say because they're not the ones going over there to do it. It's easy for people to say when they don't see what they've done to the military by reducing standards with wokery and everything else. I mean, our biggest geopolitical threat is China, but, whatever.